Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Geeknd Live. Your day starts here, where we together talk Star Wars. I'm Jamie, and at the moment, you can't see me, can you? So let's do something about that. You might regret what's about to happen. Hi. But hey, this is my face. I was born with it. I'll die with it. So happy Thanksgiving Day to those who celebrate. I can see a question in the chat from Glenn, the geeky hippie, asking whether people outside the States are aware of Thanksgiving Day. I'm aware it's not for us Brits. I don't have the date, in my diary or engraved into my human brain, of which I do have one, a diary. Still working on the brain. But thanks to social media, I knew this morning it was Thanksgiving Day, so we're going to do a short stream because I know it's a holiday for many of you. And once again, happy Thanksgiving to you. And also, to be honest, there ain't much Star Wars news to talk about. In fact, we're just going to focus on one topic, which is the sequels. Not everybody's favorite topic. But first of all, let's do some hellos. Frogger in Germany is here. Welcome back, Frogger. You've got to be nice to Glenn, the geeky hippie, today because it's a special day. It's Thanksgiving Day. Hello to Glenn as well, who's saying hello to Peter in the Netherlands, who's here. Hope you're well, my friend. And Gaz Nottingham in the UK is here as well. Hello to the Geeknd gang. So good to see people here. Also, Anders is here as well. Happy Thanksgiving, mate. And Philip594, good to see you. Now, we'll talk about what Philip's talking about there in a moment, because I also want to say hi to Marco over in Ireland. Good to see you, man. And Jason in Melbourne. It's in his name, his YouTube name at least. I don't think that's his actual name on the birth certificate or anything, Jason in Melbourne. But Jason is in Melbourne over in Australia. Hope you're doing well, mate. Don't get to see you live very often, so great to see you here in real time. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the sequels. As I mentioned, they've come up in topic this week because Kathleen Kennedy has been talking about them, or at least was asked about them and answered the question. I've got a poll, so if you're watching live, take a look at the poll and then send a message in the chat to give me more detail on how you would like the sequels to return, because Kathleen Kennedy has basically said they will, more or less. It's definite in some kind of form. And this isn't about whether you want them to return. Oh, by the way, also, if you're watching on the replay, aka in the future, let me know in the comments as well. I don't think you'll be able to see the poll, but I will let you know the results as we end the stream. To give you some background on the... Oh, hang on a second. To give you some background on the poll, the question is, how would you like to see the sequel characters return? You've got a movie / new trilogy option, live action Disney Plus series option, book / comics option, animated series option. So again, it's not really about whether you want them to return, because at the end of the day, it looks like they're going to. So I guess your desires are irrelevant in that case. But it's more about they're happening. How do you think they should come back? In what form? And it's a little bit complicated as well, which we'll get into in a moment. But let's just look at Kathleen Kennedy and what she said. Oh, first of all, so she's done a big interview with Empire magazine in the UK. I haven't got the magazine, but a few quotes have been picked up. She talked about Kenobi. This is on cinemablend.com. She said in regards to Kenobi, the thing that was most exciting was being on the set and watching the two of them get excited. She's talking about Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, of course. They hadn't seen one another in a long time. I was surprised at just how incredibly emotional it was for each of them to find themselves back in these roles, and just realizing how important Star Wars was to each of them. It was the beginning of their careers. I think that's a little bit, I don't know much about Hayden pre-Attack of the Clones, but I think that's a little bit unfair on you. And of course, it springboarded him to a whole new level of movie fame. But for me, at least at that point, he was the dude from Trainspotting, a film a film that definitely was not suitable for me to watch at that time, but I did. So yeah, I think that's a little bit unfair on Ewan there. But still, of course, it's moved them both to another level. But anyway, on to the main thing about the sequels. She was asked about whether they will return in any kind of way, really. And if you bear with me, I will get you some quotes from her. Of course, she was there mostly talking up the book of Boba Fett. So I think they've got some exclusive pictures, which are all online. They're all online now. So you can go and check those out. But like I say, she was asked a question about whether the Star Wars sequel trilogy characters have a future. And they do. This is on GameSpot. Let's just find a quote for you. Here we go. Certainly, those are not characters we're going to forget, she said of Daisy Ridley's Rey, Oscar Isaac's Poe, and John Boyega's Finn. They will live on, and those are conversations that are going on with the creative team as well. So I come back to the question. The sequels will strike back in some form, but in what form do you think they should be dealt with? I suppose. I'm personally, for now, not much interested in more sequel content. Down the line, fine, but at the moment, I'm happy enough with the stuff we've been promised, mostly on Disney Plus. But again, how should they come back? Story-wise, I guess it's logical, as Rey is, really only at the start of her Jedi story, kind of like Luke was at the end of Return of the Jedi. Finn remains a massively IMO underused character, tragically underused at this stage. So it would be good to see him, have some character development. And he remains a mystery in a way, doesn't he? Because there were some hints of him being force sensitive. What did he want to tell Rey rather than shouting Rey? He wanted to say something normally, I believe. A movie or a new trilogy is where my mind initially goes to. And, this is a time where it feels like we may never get another Star Wars movie. So dare to dream and all that. But the bigger problem there is probably, would all the actors they need want to come back? And all of this is my opinion and based on various interview comments, etc. Adam Driver, first of all, although probably not needed for the storyline, he seems fairly unlikely. Although I did see an interview quote from him recently where he said actually he wouldn't rule out a return, but it still feels to me quite unlikely and also maybe unnecessary, considering the character's plight. Oscar Isaac seems pretty unlikely to me. I don't know why, I just get that vibe from various interview comments, but, time will tell. I don't think this is something that's going to happen now. Boyega, I think actually John Boyega has been quite outspoken about some of his experience with Star Wars, I actually think he's more likely than you'd think, despite some of those comments. He probably feels like there's unfinished business there with Finn, like I certainly feel. So I feel like he's a little bit more likely to do something down the line. And I know when he, a long time ago, I think for the press for The Rise of Skywalker, he was asked about a potential Disney Plus series and he kind of laughed it out of the room. Disney Plus was a fairly unknown entity then, I think, I know it's not quite Netflix yet, but it's getting there, isn't it? So I don't think he would be laughing that out of the room. You look at some of the big names on Netflix, the big names on Disney Plus already. Daisy Ridley, probably the most likely, and she's been talking much more positively overall about her Star Wars experience out of all of the aforementioned names, I would say. And Rey is the character you would expect a movie or a trilogy to be based around. She is the last Jedi, so I guess rebuilding the Jedi Order for it all to inevitably go wrong again, probably. She's also young enough. What is she, like early 30s at the moment? So, they could wait 10 years and she could pull it off, I think. And the easier options, maybe more likely options, are, of course, books, comics, animated series as well. Disney Plus gives so many options in general. So it's going to happen in some way, but which way do you think? So I'm going to pop over to the poll to see what people are thinking so far, and then I'm going to pop over to the chat to get some more deets from you, and then we'll wrap this thing up. If you've just joined, it's a short stream because some of you are supposed to be on holiday celebrating Thanksgiving Day, and generally there's not much Star Wars news anyway, which has pretty much been a consistent theme for this stream forever, it feels like. But we crack on though, don't we? Right, I'm going over to the poll. Annoyingly, I can't see it on this. I have to go over here. All right, let's have a look. So again, the question, how would you like to see the sequel characters return? Movie stroke new trilogy has 28% of the votes. Books and comics has 22%. The least amount of votes, 11%, goes for an animated series. The most votes, I'm surprised by this, actually. Live action Disney Plus series, 39% of the votes so far. We'll come back to it before we wrap up the stream. But going over to the chat now. And remember, this is what you want. It's what you want. Whether you like it or not, they're coming back in some form. So what form would you prefer to see them come back in? You know, I guess it's not what you think is more likely. I'm going for a movie. I think a movie is naturally where they'll sort of have their minds at, but also I think I'd want a movie. You know, there's not much going on the Star Wars movie landscape at the moment, or at least there was, but we're not really sure what's going on anymore. With Rogue Squadron particularly, Rian Johnson's trilogy looks doomed. We know nothing about Taika's film, Feige's film. So, you know, this announce it in a couple of years and, you know, release it in 7 or 8 years. I think a movie could be the one. Like I say, I'm very happy with the current landscape when it comes to Disney Plus in terms of what we have to look forward to. Right. Okay. I'm in the chat. I'm working my way through, people. Bear with me a moment. So the last one I saw was, when Jason joined in. Okay. Jason in Melbourne. A series would allow more story development in so many facets, especially the characters. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it was a really wise choice to switch from doing Kenobi from a movie. Originally, it was rumored to be a movie. And I think that's more or less been confirmed to a series. Yeah, it does give you so much more time and space for story, character development. And, you know, I'm not a sequel basher. There's things I liked about the sequels, things I didn't like about the sequels, but I do think the sequel characters could do with a lot more story development, particularly Finn, you know, such a strong start with him and then kind of became a bit nothing, which is a shame because John Boyega is great as well. And, you know, the idea of the stormtrooper defecting and is he force sensitive or not? There's a lot to get deeper in with Finn, I think. Alvaro, hello to you. Also, Disney Plus series, similar to what we're seeing with Marvel. This would be a good strategy for Disney in order to increase subs, which was a major problem in their most recent earnings report. Yeah, I was quite surprised by that, but the Marvel machine is rolling, isn't it now? I went a bit Limp Bizkit there, didn't I? Sorry about that, everybody. I've let you down and myself down. And most of all, my mother, who does not like Limp Bizkit, in case you're wondering. Yeah, I was surprised by the earnings report, but now Marvel is really, you know, a well-oiled machine there. There seems to be very short gaps between the next big thing. Hawkeye's just started, yeah. Star Wars will be in that place next year, so I imagine the next earnings report will be a much better place for them. But yeah, that is at the moment the home of Star Wars, Disney Plus, it seems, isn't it? So yeah, I see why people, majority-wise, are voting for a Disney Plus series. Glenn would be very happy. A Disney Plus series with Rey, Finn, and company would be in heaven. By the way, if you're a Wheel of Time fan, I know it started, and I am going to start watching it. And Glenn, I took a picture for you the other day of a Mexican Wheel of Time poster on a big billboard. I'm going to send it to you on Twitter when I remember. So yeah, if you like Wheel of Time, go and watch Glenn, the Geeky Hippies YouTube channel. Glenn, stick it in the chat for anyone that wants to go and look it up. And Glenn also adds that he wouldn't mind if it was animated. Power Droid Girl, good to see you, my friend. Book or comic for me? Then I can comfortably ignore it. If it were on Disney Plus in some way, I would feel obliged to watch it, and I'd rather not. Yeah, I mean, I if it was a book or comic, I wouldn't. I would just. At the moment, I know I've dropped hints that I might get into the books and the comics generally. At the moment, it's not happening, and therefore, I would just get the gist, you know, from other Star Wars YouTube channels or you guys in the chat, or when it creates news stories on, you know, certain websites. So I wouldn't ignore it. I mean, I just naturally ignore it if it was a book or comic. But yeah, I know where you're coming from there. I know where you're coming from. You know, the sequels are Star Wars Marmite. I used a Marmite reference last week as well, which is a very British thing, or Australian or New Zealand with Vegemite as well. Anyway, Glenn also says, wants to see Finn becoming a Jedi. That's all. I want them to do something with Finn. That's all for me. Peter would have loved to have seen some furble Wookiees of the same quality in those numbers in Star Wars. Oh, I think I've read something that's something to do with something that you're talking about Glenn the Geeky Hippie with. Anyway, sounds good. I'm always down for more Wookiees. Just in life in general. I would like Finn to have a decent story because he didn't in the movies. I'm with you there, Frogger. I'm with you there. Francisco, how are you, mate? I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm in Mexico City still at the moment. Don't know if you knew that in the first place, but I am. And life is good. How are you, my friend? Hope you're well. Peter, in regards to a future for the sequels, more a series fan if they are Mandalorian standard, not more movies. Yeah, that's the thing. I do agree that in the Disney era, The Mandalorian is the strongest product we've had so far. They've set a very high standard there. I know not everybody loves The Mandalorian. Very few people seem to hate it, at least. But they have set a certain standard there. And as discussed earlier, the room for character, the time, the space for story and character development is there. Chrome Dome, my man. I hope you're good. Always good to see you pop up, my friend. Francisco again. I have a sacred oath to watch every Star Wars movie at theaters, but if the sequel characters had a movie or something, I'd just wait for the TV format. That's fair enough, Francisco. So you're not ruling out watching it at all. You're just not going to spend that cinema theater money. Yeah, you watch it at home when it's free, I guess, or at least less effort in terms of having to leave the house. That's fine. I get you, man. I get you. JJ Dawes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Good to see you, JJ, my friend. The only Star Wars film that Glenn the Geeky Hippie missed in the theater was the special edition of Return of the Jedi. He even saw The Phantom Menace in 3D, I see. Jason in Melbourne's back. If they do a limited episode count per season, it shouldn't have too big an impact on people's schedules for shooting. Right, I've almost caught up with the chat, I think. Speaking of chat, Chad the stopwatch, Chad the chat Campbell is here celebrating Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving Day to you, Chad. Just jumping in. The family are around and the sound is off. Well, you can't hear what we're saying, but you are a terrible human stopwatch, Chad. Terrible. You let us down on a weekly basis. Actually, this week we'll probably deliver the 30 minutes that we claim that we're going to at least attempt to do. AE Milius Lives, it's already happening in the comics. Okay, so they've already started branching out in the comics. So perhaps, does that therefore rule out the comics as part of the future in terms of what Kathleen Kennedy said? So if it's already happening in comic form, then it's going to carry on happening, yeah? That's not something new that would be in discussion with the team that she mentioned. So, yeah, okay, so that probably eliminates that as a possibility. It's already there. It's already happening. Power Droid Girl for Skywalker has written, stroke narrated a good fanfic that effectively fixes the sequels and ties Legends elements nicely. I haven't seen that, but I will check it out. Right. We always have time for a Storm Pooper comment, JJ. I think I've caught up pretty much. Gaz Nottingham, would you like a Disney Plus series following Trials spanning a number of years leading up to a new trilogy, or a trilogy with a Disney Plus series backfilling the time gap? There'd have to be a time gap, wouldn't they? Because they're not doing this anytime soon. And even though Daisy Ridley is young, she's going to get older. So I think there would have to be. Would you like a Disney Plus series following Trials? Yeah, I don't think they're going to. Would I like that? I'd like it. I'd like more Star Wars. Certainly makes these streams easier. We get something to talk about. So yeah, in theory, I would like that just because it's more Star Wars. And live action is where I'm at. Really. It's not going to happen though, is it? Because this is definitely, however it happens, I think we're looking at up to 10 years away for a release. So maybe we're only a few years away from an announcement. And you have to remember as well, like it probably makes more sense to wait longer as well, because the kids who actually grew up with the sequel trilogy, and that are Star Wars fans, and that is their Star Wars. That they are that generation. They were young and probably still are young when the sequels came out. It grabbed them. And in 10 years' time, they'll be grown-ups. more grown up, at least, than me. And, there'll be one of the sections of the audience Disney will be targeting in a slightly different way. So we might get a more darker, spin on these characters. I don't know. But just don't have the Jedi Order fall apart again. That's what I would want. But anyway, Frogger, I'm not happy to read this. Vegemite tastes way better than Marmite. I don't accept your apology. It's a terrible thing to say. And it's also factually incorrect, at least according to my taste buds. Right. I think David's here as well, aka Jones Capone. Good to see you, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And you're right. You're here to fulfill your duties, to tell people to smash that bloody like button. Anders, in the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special on Disney Plus, Finn started his training as a Jedi under Rey. So if we see the characters again, it's likely this will be the way they go. Yeah, that's a good hint there, isn't it? I mean, it's not canon, is it? But yeah, that definitely suggests that it's where their minds are at. Chad adds, a Finn series would be cool with me, but what I would be upset about is if they keep the series going after 9, whether we like the ending or not. I just want us to accept that as the ending. I think I don't mind if they go, if we have another trilogy, 10, 11, 12. Just don't let the Jedi Order fall again, and Rey go, a bit weird, and don't bring the Emperor back. That's got to be done, right? In my opinion. We've got more from Frogger here in regards to Marmite. When I first tasted it, my review was tastes like reduced soy sauce. Didn't earn me any love from Brits or Aussies. Mate, we got to work on this. I can't remember which pizza chain it was, but one of the big pizza chains did it was like a limited edition thing where, you get the stuffed crust with cheese. It was stuffed crust with cheese and Marmite. And it was amazing for like 2 slices. Then it got a little bit too much, too sickly. And I'm a big Marmite fan. But we're going to work on you, Frogger. We're going to work on you. Anakin Crespin, good to see you, my friend. I know it's often difficult for you to make the live streams. So appreciate you turning up here on a holiday day for some. Anyway, right. If there's anything I've missed, copy and paste it back into the chat, please. One more from Chad here. The thing Finn had to tell Rey was to check out his Disney Plus show. New episodes dropping every Wednesday. That's funny, Chad. You redeem yourself for all of the bad timekeeping over the last year or whatever it's been. Almost redeem yourself, sorry. Again, John Boyega laughed out the idea of him having a Disney Plus series, but that was a different time. I think it was even before Disney Plus had really launched, and it was probably before The Mandalorian, right? So I think it's a different thing now. I think he would be up for it. You look at the names they have already on it and Netflix, Right, I'm going to go back to the poll. And before I do, Jason in Melbourne, time to visit new ground in the Star Wars story. The Mandalorian is doing a good job. Yeah, no, I'm totally... There was, when The Force Awakens was first announced, the thing that got me excited was, of course, the return of the classic characters and the continuation of that story. That's what got me excited. And The Force Awakens, I liked most of the new characters when we were introduced to them. And Finn was such an interesting prospect. But what the trilogy has taught me is that there is a Star Wars for me without characters I know. And The Mandalorian really reinforced that. And if I go back to how my head was before The Force Awakens came out, Star Wars was only for me Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewie, Leia, Lando. That was Star Wars. But now Star Wars has grown. It's become a bigger universe to me with The Mandalorian. And I want that to keep growing. So I'm totally down and more excited about, like I said earlier, what we've got coming on Disney Plus, the potential for new characters, new stories. And I know this is controversial, to bring up Rian Johnson again, but I think Rian Johnson's trilogy would be very interesting because he is, whatever you thought of The Last Jedi, he is an interesting filmmaker. He's directed some of the best Breaking Bad. I enjoyed Knives Out, and I think he's the perfect kind of creative to be given a blank canvas, in a different time and space, hey, pun intended, to play with, with new characters, new timeline, etc. The gamble, having someone like him playing with the existing characters, was a gamble in terms of how people responded to it in different ways, or one of two ways, basically. So yeah, no, I'm totally down for the new stuff, and I think that's where Star Wars really should have their heads at right now, and maybe in 10 years do something with the sequel characters. I think they should, if anything, for that new generation of Star Wars fans that have now been brought into Star Wars via the sequel trilogies. 5 minutes remaining. Thank you, Chad. Let's go over to the poll. Anything important I've missed? Copy and paste it back into the chat. Meanwhile, I'm popping to the poll. Hang on. All right, 26 votes now, and I will remind you the question, because if you're watching on the replay, aka in the future, I don't think you can see the poll. So the question is, how would you like to see the sequel characters return? It's what you would like, as opposed to what you think is most likely. Right, okay, the least is an animated series with 8% of the votes. Books, comics, 19% of the votes. A live-action Disney Plus series. Oh, no, I've read that wrong. Okay. Then it's a movie or new trilogy, 23% of the votes. Top of the table, live-action Disney Plus series with 50% of the votes. So there we go. I was expecting, to be honest, more votes for a movie or a new trilogy, but that is cool. So a live-action Disney Plus series is what half of you would like to see in regards to the sequel characters. Gone Hunter's here, and he would Gon would like to never see them again. Looks like you're going to have to, Gon. Looks like, according to Kathleen Kennedy, at least they are going to return in some form. David, the beauty of Mando, especially season 1, is that no one character is too big. The star of the show is Grogu. Come on, let's be honest. It's simply the environment and the worlds, and it feels more real than an epic blockbuster movie. Yeah, I'm loving that vibe. Don't get me wrong. I also crave a return to the big screen Star Wars experience, whether that's something brand new, and I'm leaning towards something brand new if I had to choose, or a new trilogy with the continuation of the sequel story. But yeah, I agree with everything you said there, David. Glenn, the Geeky Hippie, I'm thinking a series that does not focus on the sequel characters, but has them as the secondary characters, the recurring cast members. Yeah, some of these are big names now, though, aren't they? Particularly Oscar Isaac. He's going to be very busy with Dune, I suppose. No, he's dead, isn't he? I'm sorry, spoiler alert. But anyway, he's busy generally, isn't he? I saw Dune, by the way, the other day, and I didn't enjoy it. Did not enjoy it. I was kind of disappointed by my response. I was really expecting to enjoy it, but I can see why people love it. And I went in with no existing knowledge of the book. Don't think I've even seen the original film. Or if I did, it was a long, long time ago. And yeah, I was loving the cinematography and the soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, right? And the sound in general, but I was bored. I was bored, and I didn't care for any of the characters I found. But I will be there for the next one. Right. I hope you're all good, everybody. I've upset Gon. Dune is awesome. I can see why people are loving it, and it deserves a lot of the great reviews it's been getting, has got, and I'm sure will continue to get, but it ain't getting one from me. I didn't hate it. I was just bored, to be honest. Right. I've also upset Frogger, but Frogger, you upset me earlier, right? So we're even now, yeah? Okay, everybody. I think on that terrible bombshell that I said about Dune, I've also offended Glenn the Geeky Hippie. I should probably end this stream, before I have a virtual angry mob outside my stream door, Maybe I need to go and rewatch it. I wasn't I wasn't feeling great that day. Maybe give it the benefit of the doubt that it was just my mood. Maybe I'll go back. Yeah, that's right. Powdroy Girl. Oscar Isaac is doing Marvel now. Moon Knight. The pitchforks and torches. They're lit. They're waiting for me. Chad Campbell adds, I love Dune. It also helps if you knew it was building to something. Knew a lot of people that found it very dull. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Yeah, and then maybe I didn't know there was going to be a sequel at this point. And maybe I, might have gone into it with a different mindset. I was expecting an ending, Marco, what about the Blade Runner series that's probably getting made? I didn't know about that. But I saw the Lightyear trailer, teaser trailer that you told me about, Marco. It was released the day we did a stream the other week, wasn't it? And it was fun. I haven't heard that rumor. Would it be a reboot? It wouldn't be Harrison Ford, would it? How would they, or would it be a continuation of Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner? Yeah, it's interesting. Right, everybody. JJ has spoken. It's time to wrap this up. I hope you're all good. As David says, it's time for pie over there in the States. So if you're in the States, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, once again, happy Thanksgiving to you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your holiday. And yeah, all the best to you and your families. And next week, because I'm a nice guy, I might be helping a friend film something next Thursday, so I might need to do the stream on a different day. So keep an eye out. The stream might be on Wednesday or Friday instead of Thursday, just for 1 week only. All right, but I don't know for sure yet what time they need my my assistance. So yeah, but quickly on the Blade Runner, Marco comes back and says, "Don't know, Jamie. Ridley Scott came out and said it's in the works. He's been saying a lot of things recently, Ridley Scott." Some quite angry comments about superhero movies I saw as well, using some words that I will not say on this stream because I want my $1 in ad revenue, and I don't want to be demonetized. But okay, well, I mean, you gotta trust what Ridley Scott says, I suppose. Right, everybody, thank you very much. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and have a great week, and I will see you next week at some point. All right, so thank you, everybody. And I will see you soon. Just putting some final comments on the screen. Chad's eating pie, and we've gone over the 30-minute mark. Because you were eating pie. You forgot to remind me. You were distracted by pie. All right, everybody. See you soon. And you got to keep waving till the broadcast actually ends. All right? You got to keep waving. Keep waving. The comments are going crazy. Crazy. Keep waving. Waving, keep.